What is up? What is up, folks? I finally made it back. Running a few minutes behind, but that means I'm right on time. So, and yes, Miss Susan, that is correct. Y'all, please make sure and hit that like. Miss Susan's hall monitor, so she's gonna stay on y'all. Make sure y'all do it. So, anyway, um, Nosy, you not like my countdown? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Miss Susan, Nosy. Let's see who else we got in there. Um, Hugo, let's see. Uh, AC's in there. Let's see. There's a few of y'all in there. Maybe some more people will pile in too. So anyway, good morning, everybody. Thank y'all for being here. Um, it is good to be back. So anyway, I'm going to torture y'all a little bit again. The whole point of this to me is how dangerous some of these conversations are getting. They blame all of us that have questions for any kind of, threats or quote unquote threats, quote unquote violence or anything that happens because we're questioning Erica and Turning Point. Well, I think it's going to come clear to a lot of people. I know all of y'all in the chat because y'all are like me and y'all are just regular people that aren't necessarily brainwashed in either direction. But anyway, I think y'all will see as we go along how dangerous and divisive this conversation is, in spite of the fact he claims that's why he is doing what he's doing. To I guess he thinks he's bringing people together and have less divisiveness. I don't understand how that works. But regardless, let's get it going. Y'all see what I mean, and y'all know the drill. I'll get her going here, and then we'll talk about it here and there. Oh yeah, and obviously, if anybody is not subscribed, I know y'all in the chat are subscribed. Anybody that's not subscribed, please do so. I'm getting so close to 500 to get monetized, so would really appreciate that. Obviously, also share this video around on any of your socials. Share this video and all the others. Oh yes, announcement. So this Friday, as long as everything goes according to plan, the tentative plan is for me. I shouldn't have put myself at the front. Attorney Greg Lake, Matt from Friends with Matt. I don't know if y'all remember the Ecological Criminal Report. He was the one that debated Gary not too long ago. I interviewed him. He's going to be on, and then myself. All four of us, we will be on Friday night after the hearing to discuss that and, of course, all the other goings-ons related to it. So, anyway, y'all be looking forward to that. I'll have a link, thumbnail, and all that stuff up sometime today. And that should be a really good one. The one last Friday night with me and Greg and Matt was awesome. I really enjoyed that. And obviously, I'm not the only one. It's got a huge amount of views. Hey, Scruff, good morning. Karen, hey, Boomer's in the chat. Hey, good morning, y'all guys. Good to see y'all in there. All right, without further ado, let me get this pulled up so we can get this party started.
Liberty Podcast.
What is happening, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Man, do we got a great show for you today. As a matter of fact, the subject of our show is right now in my comment section on X. I hope he's tuned in. John Mappin, if you're out there right now, I will send you a guest link. You're welcome to come on the show. And I would love to hear you talk about the fact that Erica is involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination.
And I don't know if y'all are familiar with John Mappin, at least very familiar with John Mappin. I wasn't until fairly recently. But he was a really good friend of Charlie's, at least from the outside looking in. Obviously, I don't know that firsthand, but it appears that he was really close to Charlie and also really close to Candace, and still is. John Mappin and his wife are the donors that, it's been way back. I couldn't even come close to guessing what episode it was. But when Candace read the letter from one of Charlie's donors, a man and his wife. Well, that was John Mappin and his wife, the one that basically encouraged Candace to keep doing what she's doing, figure out the truth, and that something stinks about the official story. And anyway, according to Gary, he would like to have a conversation with him. I don't know. We would. That would be an interesting conversation. John's way smarter than Gary for sure. And besides that, like I said, he actually knew Charlie. By all appearances, knew him pretty well. There's lots of pictures of them. No video showing. There I am just talking. Okay. Hold on. Let me do that one more time then, and then we will try that. Don't know what happened there. Okay, let's see. Share screen. Hold, please. Okay. Share. Hey, you're killing me, Smalls. You are killing me. I love it. Everybody's killing me lately, it seems like. Okay, so let's see. Add to stage. Don't want that. We want this. All right. Guys, I'm fixing to hit the go button. Y'all tell me if y'all can see it.
I sent you that question. I'm going to show it to everybody here in just a second. But I'd love for you to come on the show. I'd love to hear you talk about Scientology. I would love to hear about your relationship with.
They always bring up Scientology. Like Scientology automatically means that you cannot tell the truth and that you don't know anything. It's funny. I'm not a Scientologist. Don't really have much of an opinion on Scientology, except that I know that it's weird and not really, I don't feel like really a Christian. I mean, obviously any religion other than, Christ-based to me is not legitimate. Regardless, I don't feel so strongly about it that I could never believe anything a Scientologist said just because they're a Scientologist. I don't know.
With Charlie Kirk. I would love to hear about all these things.
Judaism.
So you're
yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Rod.
welcome to come on the show. I will treat you fairly. I'll treat you with respect, but I'm going to hold you to task for what's going on and what's happening here in the world. And
everybody knows he holds them to task. Boy, he's a mean muffin.
everything that's happening and how you constantly insert yourself into the clear lies of Candace.
This guy, this asshole wants to talk about people inserting himself into the middle of shit. What the hell is he smoking today?
And this war that she's waging on,
What's up, Kelly?
on Charlie Kirk's legacy, Charlie Kirk himself, Eric.
His wife and Andrew Covett are the ones at war with Charlie Kirk's legacy. I can promise you. Erica Kirk and Andrew Covett are the ones that are at war with Charlie Kirk's legacy. There it is. I'm on the record.
Erica Kirk, TPUSA. Be happy to talk about all those things. And we're going to get to all that stuff. I want to say hi to everybody over in the chat. And we have a great guest, one of my favorite guests. And I mean that. I mean that sincerely. One of my favorite guests. We're going to bring him on in a minute. But I want to say hello to Ex-Samurai Obscure, moderator, all the moderators out there. Thank you guys for everything that you do for this channel. We appreciate you. I promise you I'm going to double your pay tomorrow. I'm doubling your pay. You guys are doing such a great job. Jim O'Hara, Lace, Mary Joey, Bruce, Steve Conte. I know, Steve, you hit the like button twice. Speaking of which, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like, you subscribe. If you want to support the channel and what we do, down in the description below is a link where you can become a member. It's a couple bucks a month. It goes a long way, helps us out. Also if you're not following us on X, you should be. I'm going to show you some of the content that we're putting out on X. And if on X, there's also a subscriber option. If you'd like to do that, support us that way. I would really appreciate that. And speaking of, down in the description below, I'm going to bring on Artie Trolls. Down in the description below are all his social media sites. Make sure you guys go follow him. He is, again, one of my favorite guests. His real name is not Artie Trolls. With that being said, to me, he will always be Artie Trolls. I don't care. You need to just change your name. The same thing with Rage Bronson. If you guys aren't following Rage Bronson, go follow him.
Has anybody had the pleasure of being introduced online to Artie Trolls? Has anybody seen any of Artie Trolls' stuff? I have not seen just a whole lot, but I think he was being. I think he was just kind of making a joke because since he pays nothing, double would still be nothing. That's kind of where I figure he was going with that. I don't figure he actually pays his mods. No, don't leave me. Anyway, is anybody familiar with Artie Trolls? Let me know. This guy is a piece of work.
I have his real name too. His first name is Rage. His last name is Bronson. That's the end of it. Just change your name and get with the program. So, Artie, welcome to the show, right?
How's it going? Thank you so much for that.
No problem, man. Folks, seriously, if you're not following Artie, he's a truth teller. I love his content. He brings a lot of insight to many different situations, some of which we'll cover tonight. But
this guy's channel is almost, well, this guy's channel is as devoted to Candace as this one is to Gary and Graham Allen, pretty much. Just to give you kind of an idea of what this guy does.
You know, and he's very educational and entertaining to watch. So I appreciate him and everything he's doing, and I hope there's many more Arties out there
Well, I'm glad I could make y'all's day by introducing y'all to this guy.
that are going to, come out. And I love doing this. Like I would rather talk to people that are, just getting into the social media game so we can give them exposure, give them a leg up, and
Oh, really, Gary? You promised me I could come on your show. What about that exposure, huh? I'm kind of new in this whole social media game. Give me some exposure. Let's have me on like you said you would. Come on, Gary. I've emailed you. I've DM'd you on X. I've tagged you in YouTube posts. Come on, buddy.
promote you guys that are trying to come on the scene, and you're not ruined, right? You're not ruined by all the stuff, worrying about subscribers.
Yeah, that's a good point. And yes, that is a good point. Look, everybody talks about people like Baron Coleman and Ian Carroll, and the list goes on, Coach Colin, how they're all riding Candace's coattails, how they're all making money off of Candace. And it's so disgusting and it's so dirty and all this. That's what these assholes are doing. That's all they're doing. They're just coming at it from a different angle. Every one of these bastards is riding on Candace's coattails. Everybody in the social media world right now is riding on Candace's coattails, and that's why I think Lionel Nation, he realized a long time ago that she was probably one of the most powerful people online, or even in the country. And you know what? That's there's some truth to that. These assholes are riding their coattails too.
People get they get so audience captured, and hopefully you don't. I know Rage isn't going to. Lisa knows, and many of the other people that we collaborate with and talk to and have on the show regularly. I have faith in you guys to continue to
Hello, Netherlands. Love to see those internationals in there.
right thing, and don't worry about views. Don't worry about any of that stuff. That stuff will come. And if it doesn't, who cares? What matters is what you're saying. And the people that are watching you, they know they're getting the truth, and that it really is all that matters. So just real quick, I know you've been on the show multiple times before, Artie. For people that don't know who you are, just go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just, I've been kind of doing this a little while, but, very small audience, just here and there. But I like to get down to the nitty gritty and figure out what exactly the truth is, depending on, what political bombshell goes off that day. And there's so much mud that, gets thrown out there, especially on social media. Everybody thinks they know exactly what's been going on,
Sure.
what the truth is, before any of the information even comes out. So, that's just kind of my thing. I try to piece everything together as it comes out and give people a little bit of an idea on where they should be looking.
In other words, he likes to bitch about what Candace Owens said today.
Yeah, no, and you're doing a great job, and I love the format of your content. It's great, and I'm just looking over here on X. We have a bunch of folks that are, again, we have John Mappin himself, who we're going to talk at least a little bit about tonight, posting over there.
What's up, Brett? I meant to text you and let you know that I was going live. Sorry, buddy. I'm glad you're here, though. You the man. You are the man.
There's a couple of things that I want to cover before we get too deep into this.
Yeah, he does look like a basement dweller, don't he, Miss Susan?
And I'll just take you guys over here real quick to the X account. So pull my bookmarks here. First and foremost, everybody, this keeps coming up, and I've addressed this multiple times on the show through video, separate videos, and through these live streams, and we've talked about this a bunch. And I want to everybody keeps talking, and all this stuff just kind of gets recycled. It goes away, and then it comes back. And here's one of the things that has reemerged again is, Gary, can you explain what happened to Charlie Kirk's shirt?
There's a reason why that doesn't go away. He says it goes away and it comes back. There's a reason why that keeps coming back around. And that is because the official story and your story make no sense. And even people that don't know that much about guns or ballistic experts like you say you are, Even those people know that there is something not right with that. So that is exactly why that keeps coming back around. I keep hoping one day you'll see the light. One day you'll give them a legitimate answer.
I have. And as a matter of fact, I was the first one that I know of.
I mean, look, what's his name? Rob O'Neill, ex-Navy sniper. I don't know for sure, but supposedly the one that shot bin Laden. What did he say? It wasn't a gunshot. It looked like something exploded under his shirt.
To explain this, and I think this was, a few
No shit.
days to a week after Charlie Kirk's assassination, what I thought took place. And here we have some examples of what's going on here, but I just want to read this portion to you. And this gives you guys an option. You guys can go bookmark this. And when this comes up, because it will come up again, this is something you can share. And it explains everything. And if it doesn't, feel free to, leave a question down in the comments. I'll address it if you have additional questions on this.
I got questions, Gary.
What caused Charlie Kirk's shirt to move like it did? I explained this about a week after the assassination and a dozen times since. The physics haven't changed. It's straightforward once you understand the mechanics. Just like everything else, ignorant people still try to turn this into proof of some elaborate conspiracy. It's not. The bullet struck the front of his spine, accelerating the spine rearward right where the necklace chain was resting, on the back of his neck. This massive instantaneous energy transfer, like a high-speed Newton's cradle, launched the chain to the rear at hundreds of feet per second in the fraction of a millisecond. Yanking the necklace hard from behind, the front, with the pendant acting as a counterweight, flies upward violently. But I want you to understand this only moved, it probably moved over an inch, but it moved with such acceleration. It happened so fast that you're not even going to capture it on a 30 frame per second camera, folks. You got to understand that we're dealing with an extremely high speed energetic event. And you got to kind of put yourself in that mindset. Hundreds of pounds of force were involved. The sudden whip snapped the chain, likely at the clasp, and explains the dramatic shirt movement we all saw. The movement is the pendant being accelerated upward under his shirt. The forces and speed at which this all occurred are understandably hard to imagine for most people. The broken clasp was too big to slide through the cross pendant loop attachment point, which is why the free running portion of the necklace can later be seen hanging off of Charlie's left side. The cross pendant was stuck on his shirt collar. Not complicated, not a squib, not faked, not special effects, not an exploding microphone. You all pushing that are complete imbeciles and grifters. And I just had a conversation with another person pushing that stupid theory. Just ballistics and basic physics. Not proof of a conspiracy. The necklace simply reacted exactly as you'd expect from a high velocity impact. And I have some pictures here.
I didn't ever actually hear in all of that he read what exactly caused the necklace to break. Like what exact, what exact mechanism caused that? What exactly, you can say that it's from, that whole list is very general and does not actually directly doesn't actually directly address the moment that it breaks and what exactly caused that to happen.
And I know, folks, somebody came into my comments was like, you shouldn't even be showing this picture. And this is someone on our side. You shouldn't be showing this picture because they just explained. Like blogs are dead, right? Like if you're just going to explain to people, they need pictures. They're fighting against us. They're distorting the truth with pictures and video. We have to show the exact same thing. It's ugly business. I don't like it, but that's what has to be done. That's somebody that's still stuck in like 1990 when it comes to marketing, messaging. Like you got to have pictures and videos these days. You just got to. And again, I show this. We have the broken necklace.
Yes, Brett. And where did the rest of the bullet go? I guess it peeled off and disintegrated before it ever got to him, because no exit wound means that all of it has to be inside his body.
This is a portion of the necklace. It's broken. And this right here is the cross pendant still in motion going up. And then we see, again, from the side here, we see extremely high speed and energetic neck expansion right here. And there's more to it than that. This is just one frame in 30 frames of something that's happening at 2,000 feet per second. Then we see the broken necklace here. But that's what happened with this, folks. It's actually the least complicated thing that's going on with this. And just to kind of reiterate what we have going on here. Again, he was hit. This necklace is hanging on the back. Gets pulled.
Problem solved.
Quickly. If you pull a necklace that way and when we have a cross pendant, it's going to go upward. But imagine that happening with hundreds of foot-pounds of force. That's the energy that was transferred. It's not that hard. And what all these morons are trying to tell you is that, this goes back to the exploding mic theory.
But according to your theory, that energy was transferred, but guess what? It stopped. It stayed inside of his body. So I could understand if this energy went through him and then exited him, maybe we could have a conversation. But you're saying that the energy stopped inside of his body. So again, I don't understand it.
The exploding mic theory is the dumbest on the planet for so many reasons, but the main reason is that it defies physics. Folks, I spent a whole career working with explosives. I'm telling you right now, explosives, a shape charge, anything else doesn't negate Newtonian physics. You have to have an equal and opposite reaction. We have a Mike that's pinned underneath his shirt with a magnet that supposedly releases some sort of explosive energy or device or project. I don't even I've heard it all. I don't even know how to narrow it down. But we have some sort of explosion that releases enough energy in this direction to kill a man, but it doesn't release enough energy in this direction to rip his shirt, to cause any scorching or charring. The magnet on which it's attached even stays in place. That is a very light force. You're telling me that's not even going to get removed? It is. And then on top of that, the other part of this, folks, again, I've went to UVU. I've talked to over a dozen eyewitnesses. All of them say, every single one that I've talked to, except for one, said they thought that they heard the shot originate from the Lossy building. One person, and it's completely understandable, I'm sure there's more. The way the acoustics of that location are, I don't doubt that some people heard the sound ricocheting off of walls, and it gave them a false perception of direction. I've done this multiple times in combat, where we're getting shot at in a mount, an urban area, and then it's very difficult to figure out where the shots are coming from because the way the sound bounces off of things. So when we look at the evidence, we now know that there's an ATF report, a ballistics report that confirms that we had a 30 caliber projectile. It is broken in pieces, which we knew that going early on. Candace Owens even confirmed that, I think, back in
he was choking on a little piece of bullshit.
December when she met with Erica Kirk. So quit trying to turn this into something that's not. And I said this earlier, I've said this 1,000 times in the show. I understand that reality isn't as sexy as fiction. And, these people are so caught up in trying to be in this mystery. I'm going to help solve it. I believe the truth. This is all lies. And, they're just fooling themselves. And then somehow that gets directed at Erica Kirk and TPUSA and now Andrew Coldet and everything else with it. Folks, this is a psychological operation. There are some people that are wittingly involved and some people that are unwittingly involved. But let me tell you something. It's a psychological operation that's meant to destroy TPUSA. It is meant to destroy, ultimately, the MAGA movement. We see what's coming out today where now we have multiple accounts. I'll pull up that in just a minute. We have multiple high-profile people saying, oh, we got to unite the left and the right.
Well, it kind of appears to most folks that MAGA turned into MIGA. So, that's what a lot of people's issue is, And I have to say, kind of does appear that way. And I didn't sign up for MIGA. I know I didn't, and I know most everybody that I talked to, they didn't sign up for MIGA either.
How can you unite the left and the right? We are so there's not.
You can't when you got assholes like you going on every single day and saying that very thing that we cannot, we can't. We don't want to unite with these people.
To unite. This is good versus evil. There is no way to unite communism and globalism with individual liberties and freedom and capitalism. It doesn't work. They're so different. So they're starting to reveal their hand. And as more information comes out, as lawsuits come out, ultimately when the Tyler Robinson court case comes out, and we actually have those hearings, folks, we're going to see more and more information. And everything that we've told you is going to be proven true. And everything they've been trying
I can't wait
to peddle, create, fabricate is going to be proven false. And my hope is that you people remember. I hope you remember who's telling you the truth. I'm not convinced that's going to be the case. I think there's going to be a lot of coping, a lot of denial, because nobody wants to be convinced that they've been duped. That's just.
And I guarantee you, if he gets acquitted, and if by some miraculous work of God, the real story ever comes out, you're going to watch Gary slink back into the shadows, into a corner. He's going to crawl off in a hole, and he is never going to come back. That's what my prediction is, and I could be wrong. At least not when it comes to the whole conspiracy, real crime, and all that. He may go back to doing guns, but I got a feeling we won't be seeing him commenting on things like this anymore.
That's the reality of it. So
absolutely.
Artie, take it away. Sorry, I was.
No, you're good. I mean, it's you said it pretty well there. I mean, the fact of the matter is that we can see both microphones that he had. Want to get into physics and all that, equal and opposite forces, reactions, whatnot. That microphone should have went off completely the other direction if it were to blow up into, side of his neck.
Yeah, he seems like he's a real professional.
No punctures anywhere else, only one spot, but his shirt, no holes in it. I mean, how is that even possible? That would have been some crazy accurate tech. But I mean, even Candace, coming out saying that, they think it was an exploding mic. And on the other hand, they also think that it was a foldable AR. Those are two completely different things.
Well, even more. One of the big things that Baron Coleman has pushed, the lying propagandist that he is that Charlie
The lying propagandist that he is. Wow, that's rich.
Kirk was electrocuted by his handheld mic at the same time. That's one of the things that he
right.
And then he shows pictures of Charlie's hands from like this blurred. You clearly see, oh gosh, what's that distortion called? I'll think of it in a second, but you clearly see like some color fringing on his hand. He's like, look, those are char marks. Those are char. Those are that's proof that he was electrocuted. Like it just doesn't stop.
The amount of electricity they would have had to have pumped through that microphone to get him to grip it instead of it flying out of his hand. I mean, I don't know. And to get him to stay still anyway, like what would even be the point?
Well, they're trying to. What this is a very complex storyline to explain away what we see. And what we see is obviously a gunshot wound to the front. We see a massive.
That's the problem. What we see is not obviously a gunshot wound. What's up, Michelle? Nice to see you in the chat.
Energy transfer directly from the front to the rear. And then we see him seize, right? We see him go into that. And then, so what?
Love them internationals.
What they're saying is that him seizing was actually him being electrocuted. They have to jump through hoops.
And you gotta love this genius take that's coming here. Artie's fixing to give his take on the whole microphone thing. Wowzers!
Twist themselves into pretzels to come up with these explanations to explain what actually happened, and explain that away, and try to get you to look over here at ultimately UFOs and aliens actually killed Charlie. Jewish aliens, nonetheless. Jewish aliens killed Charlie. And it wasn't Tyler Robinson. And we got to deflect away from the left because that's what this is really about, right? This is really about protecting the left. Folks, we all know what killed Charlie Kirk. Extreme rhetoric is what stochastic, oh God, I'm blanking out here, but stochastic terrorism, right? So we actually have just language that is being used to incite people over a course of time, calling Charlie Kirk hateful, a Nazi, all of these things, trying to get somebody out there to do exactly what happened with Charlie Kirk. That's what happened. It's the left. It's the evil left. We saw them celebrated.
It's the evil left. It's the evil left. Granted, yes, there are some crazies. There's some real Looney Tunes out there. But it is such just a small minority of people. You can't just lump everybody into one group like that. You just can't put everybody in a box. And it's people like him that keep this whole left and right thing going. Everybody knows that when it comes down to it, like in D.C., the left and the right is just not a thing. There is a uniparty. It's the people. It's the people versus the government always, and that's not the way it was intended to be. That's the way it is, and they keep us fighting about all of this bullshit. And this right here is what causes violence for one, and this is what keeps the division going.
After he was killed, that's what took place, and that's what's happening. And they want to pretend that that's not what's happening. Even
Scruff, mine's 4:30 yesterday. I gave for gas.
And Candace Owens herself
in Middle Tennessee
has said that she thinks that Tyler Robinson was probably involved. Why hasn't she investigated that at all?
Exactly.
Why hasn't she investigated any sort of links? And then tell us if it was Erica Kirk, if it was TPUSA, if it was all these other people that were involved in Charlie's assassination. How do we link Tyler Robinson to the overall plot? She went as far as saying that Tyler Robinson was never on campus.
We shouldn't have to. That's not our job. I guess the first step is going to be get him acquitted, at least of the current charges. I do feel like he was probably involved. He's probably guilty of something. So the way it should happen is once he's acquitted of that, then they should do a real, actual, honest investigation because that's what we pay them for. And then we should get some real answers. And then, of course, anybody involved, including Tyler Robinson, pay for their part in it.
Folks, you are going to see definitive proof that that is a lie. And we have it in the new search warrants that came out. They show exactly, they talk about exactly that they have Tyler Robinson walking all over campus, that he was actually in the courtyard even. He was doing pre-attack surveillance. He was confirming and making sure that the target value was still there and that all the vulnerabilities still existed. That's what pre-attack surveillance actually is. And that's what he was doing. So everything that they've said so far
makes sense, Gary. Pre-attack surveillance, yeah, makes sense.
It's going to be a proven lie, and then I don't know how they're going to deal with it.
Well, I mean, I'm glad to see Candace Owens kind of getting a taste of her own medicine for it. You know, she's sitting there saying that everybody has to provide their alibis. It's guilty until pretty much proven innocent with Candace, and well, now we kind of see what's going on. You know, with the whole Laura Loomer thing. Now it's Candace
love
is
it.
going to have to end up bringing up her own alibis. You know, she's going to have to provide alibis for George, for herself, if she's to, you know, have any principles whatsoever, which we know she won't. But, you know, I say holding her to these principles that she has set for TPUSA is probably a good starting point.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I just want to show you guys this real quick so that you guys see it. So Cat Turd reposted it. This is going all over, but Cat Turd said, okay,
That's why we got such a good. That's why we got such a good community here. We got the best chat on the internet, not the largest, but definitely very engaged and just good all around.
oh, look, y'all, the memo's out. The most divisive, destructive, dividing, gaslighting, doomer grifters on the planet are now going to bring us together through love and harmony. Seriously, how low does your IQ have to be to fall for this ridiculous? Sean Ryan, there's a constant banter, but very few real solutions. I had a lengthy discussion with Cenk Uygur. And while we may not agree on everything, I do believe that there are areas where people from different sides can come together. Candace Owens, we need to continue to fix the fracture between the left and the right. There is no fixing it. It's irreconcilable.
There is no fixing it. It is irreconcilable. What about that? That is exactly what I'm talking about. People need to realize that they are not all that different. If both sides could maybe compromise a little here and there, there's some things there's not going to be any compromising on. And, you know, if we had a true two-party system, as in, you know, we had two groups of people in the United States that would debate their issues, go back and forth, and then elect whichever side, you know, however the chips fall. If that was the case, and when they went to D.C., they would uphold those values and those beliefs and those, you know, political views of the side that elected them, that would be okay. But instead, what we're getting, again, like I said, is a uniparty. They get out there and they do what's best for themselves and for the government, and they don't worry about who elected them or what those people even think. So that, again, that is the issue. And yes, we should be able to get along, but assholes like you say, there is no getting along with these people. There is no, I mean, that right there that is our problem. A lot of it.
We can't, that's demons and angels come.
Candace Owens is not saying that we need to mend fences with the you know, with the crazies that want to dance around, and, you know, grown men dance around in scantily clad with their balls hanging out in front of kids. I mean, like, that is not what she's saying. But there are, when it comes down to the average American working class people, whether they identify as Democrat or Republican, most people have the same basic beliefs and same goals, and there are going to be few things that are different. Obviously, there's going to be disagreements, but we should be able to get along.
Together, not happening. We now know what true evil is. It is us against the Epstein class and warmongers. Ian Carroll, both sides are tricked into characterizing each other. The left thinks the whole right wing is Ted Cruz, and the right thinks the whole left wing is
Well, there you go.
Dylan Mulvaney. In reality, the
Welcome.
vast majority of regular Americans on both sides are regular and reasonable people. I disagree with that. There's, like, what you believe as a Democrat.
I disagree with that. Like, he's literally saying that even the average everyday Democrat it's irreconcilable. I can't join forces with you. I can't be associated with you. I can't get along with you. That's what he's saying.
Even a moderate Democrat is so far in opposition to what I know is true. You don't believe in the Constitution. You think that this country was founded on evil principles, founded by evil men. You think that everything that we do in the world is...
And that is not your average everyday Democrat either. There are some, yes. There are some that want to get rid of the Constitution. There are some that preach that we were, you know, that the country was founded by evil people for evil intentions. Whatever. But that is not your average working class Democrat. That's not your average Democrat person. I mean, that is a small minority of people. And you know what? Like I said, everybody's not necessarily going to agree. Everybody's not going to necessarily get along. But we have to get to a point where we can unify on the major things. And we need to get to a point where we don't have crazies on each side that are constantly trying to kill people on the other side, for sure. Again, though, we also need to keep our government out of our business, and we need to make sure they don't keep radicalizing these people, because You know as well as I do that happens.
Evil. When in reality, what we're doing is maintaining peace throughout the world and making sure that America is America first, and we secure our economic and military benefits and or advantage.
Good night, Keza, Hugo. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let no bed bugs bite. Hey, I'll be back in the morning. So yeah, I'd be glad to see you here again in the morning.
And make sure because if we pull in, folks, the world's closing in on us. So, and by the way, this message is being echoed all.
Well, Michelle, according to the official story, he had it in his pants. But trust me, I do not in any way buy that theory. For one, if you listen to their own, like if you go through their own documents, it talks about how he had this limp because the gun was in his pants. Well, I would like to see one of these prosecutors take a full-length rifle like that and stick it down in there, not just blue jeans but skinny jeans, and walk up the steps and do all that, get up there, and then it says he crouched down, and I'm going to have to see footage of him getting this thing out of his pants before I believe that he had it there. I'm convinced he did not. I do not believe that he did at all. I believe that he took it as far as the chicken coop where he left it and dropped it off. I believe that's as far as he took it, if he's even the one to put it there.
We've heard this for a while, right? We've been hearing the talking point, the false narrative is, I've been seeing in my comments for months now, oh, you still believe the left and the right aren't the same? Yeah, no, I do. I know.
Rod, no, I mean, they've not ever claimed that it was in his backpack. They've always claimed that he had it in his pants. I mean, if you take that rifle and you break it down into two pieces, you take the barrel and action out of the stock, either one of those is still going to be too long to fit down in there and zip up. So I've heard, obviously, people online mention that, but as far as the official story, all I've ever heard is that he had it down in his pants.
Oh, they're different. I know there couldn't be a bigger divide. There couldn't be a bigger choice between Donald Trump and someone like Joe Biden. We can either have open borders or we can have a secure country. We can have individual liberty, or we can have mass surveillance state and or the Department of Justice being weaponized against America.
Yeah, Gary's kind of filibustering. Trust me, he says plenty when he's on his show.
Americans all over and political opponents. We can have the social media companies conspire with our government to ensure that certain voices are suppressed and that they're sent.
So, Rod, I believe the origins of that story, if I'm not mistaken, was not FBI or even the prosecution, Utah State. Best I remember, that came from the governor, Cox. I could be mistaken on that, but I do know there were a few things that were just patently false, and that's agreed on by our side of it and Gary's side of it, that came from the governor. So I don't know. I won't swear to it, but I kind of feel like that theory maybe came from the governor. But that was never in the official, like, charging documents or any of that. According to them officially, it was in his pants, down his pant leg. But I don't know.
Censored, and then other certain voices that they believe in ideologically in conjunction with, that they make sure that those voices are pushed, promoted, and boosted. And we're still seeing that. And there's a reason, besides all the bots, besides all the sock puppets, besides all the foreign influence campaigns that are going on, there's a reason why these people are so popular. And part of it is truth. Like, part of it is just true in that this is human nature. I mean, I guarantee you, fiction books sell, outside biographies 10-1. Like,
oh yeah.
So nonfiction 10-1. The same thing with movies.
I don't know about that, but I can guarantee you I'll take a good old documentary any day over just some bullshit. That's the way I am anyway.
What's going to do better? A Marvel comic movie or, some documentary? We just love stepping out of our reality. But most of us have enough common sense and enough brain power to say, hey, you know what? This isn't real, but this is. And some things are too serious to venture outside of reality with. And this is one of them, because we're losing our country over it.
Absolutely. I mean,
we're losing our country over the idea that the left and right could get along. We're losing our country over the idea that the left and right can get along. Holy shit, I just did a Baron Coleman, didn't I? I repeated myself. I felt good. But yeah, is that not just, it's so rich.
you have Nick Fuentes coming out saying he's voting Democrat. I mean, This isn't a coincidence that all these people are coming together and saying, oh, we should get back with the left. Well, if you guys want to do that, do one challenge first and get them to stop shooting at us, and then maybe we could talk. You know what I mean? Until that happens, though, until they stop going into our churches and just lighting the place up, until they stop literally losing their minds because of all the HRT that they're taking.
Yeah.
Maybe it's some.
Again, HRT, lighting churches on fire. This is a very, very extreme, very, very small, minority of people. And, there are some people that are just crazy, and that's the way it's always going to be. It doesn't matter if they call themselves Democrats or if they call themselves Republicans. At the end of the day, again, I say we need to realize that the average, everyday Democrat or Republican in some cases, whatever, but those are not our enemies.
At some point, we may be able to get, back with the left and get a little bit of cohesion going. But until then, until they stop doing that, I'm not even really interested in talking that much to them anymore. I mean, they really drew a line with Charlie Kirk.
Well, with Charlie Kirk, and
he's not interested in even talking to him anymore. Again, see, they're furthering the divide.
Multiple assassination attempts on Donald Trump. I haven't
That
heard.
too, yeah.
I don't know that I've heard a single Democrat. It's definitely not in mass. I haven't heard a single Democrat condemn the assassination attempts on Donald Trump.
He's lying. He's full of shit. Either that or he's retarded. Again, I'm not taking up for anybody. I watched the hearings. They were hard on whatever her name was, the director of the Secret Service. Democrats too. They were extremely hard on her. Yes, there were after Butler. There were a lot of Democrats that said that was no good. You got to figure when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, Secret Service. Democrats want Secret Service to do their job because at some point it'll be a Democrat that they're going to be protecting. And yes, even some of the craziest, quackiest, most Looney Tunes of those people in Congress, when they were having those hearings, were super hard on her and talked about how it was absolutely unacceptable, and that, there had to be changes made. So maybe he is that dumb, but again, I mean, hey, it's a PSYOP. He's trying to divide us. PSYOPs work both ways.
I just haven't heard.
Absolutely.
And like I said, maybe there's a one or two. I'm sure there's a few out there that have, but it has not been a mass condemnation from Democrats. Hey, we just can't.
I mean, what do you consider every member of Congress stating it ad nauseum during the hearings? I mean, I would call that en masse, kind of. I mean, were they supposed to send out get well soon cards and, we can't be doing this?
Want it. They're happy. The only thing they're pissed off about is that it wasn't successful in any of the attempts.
Right.
This is why every single time when it comes to us or a foreign nation, especially with a foreign adversary, they're going to choose the foreign adversary over their own country every single time.
Hey, I am. I'll tell you right now. But, I know lots of people that are not conservative. And you know what? I have no issues with anybody unless they actually do something to me. Most people I know that call themselves Democrats or whatever, most people that I know are good people. They may disagree on some points, but at the end of the day, like I said, nothing that no reasons for us to not get along and be friends. And again, okay, I'm sure there's probably some things I'll say over time that you'll disagree with, but there's a lot that you do agree with. And that is the way it is. It's the way it should be. We should not have people like this telling us, no, you cannot get along with these people. You don't agree. You don't, absolutely not. That will never benefit anybody. It will never benefit this country. I have no issues being friends, no matter what kind of letter they have by their name.
Every single time.
Till you do something, fuck with me, then that's maybe a different story. But you know what? Like I said, as long as you're good to me, I'll be good to you.
It's disappointing. It's sad to see here in the United States, as someone that fought for this country, that loves this country, that would have given his life for his country, that still will. It is sad to see that there are so many dumb Americans that will get tricked by the stupidest things.
So many dumb Americans that just want to get along with the Democrats. Stupid ass.
Never imagined that this whole thing with Candace Owens would have gone as far as it has. And I know I still get questions down in the comments all the time. Gary, why are you doing?
Like, she's Catholic. Do you think she's saying that we need to, join forces and hold hands with the trans community? Fuck no, that's not what she's saying. They just have to disagree with what she says. It doesn't matter what it is. That's not what she's saying.
Doing this, Gary, go do gun stuff. I would love to go do gun stuff. Folks, this is a threat to our country like I've never seen before. This is the most effective, sophisticated psychological operation that's ever taken place in social media by a long shot.
The American people on both sides getting along and deciding, instead of fighting with each other, they're going to turn all that energy towards their government that's been raping them for the past however many years or decades. That is extremely dangerous to the United States. Gary just said it. It scares the shit out of him.
If there's not people like me out there, I wish there was more voices so I could go do something else. I would love this, but I can't. I'm not letting this go because it's too serious, and the consequences of this being allowed to be perpetuated and perpetrated on the American people, the consequences are too dire. It's that serious, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Same here. I mean, clearly I would love to do anything else. You know what I mean?
Oh, we know you would.
Talking about politics, it gets pretty boring, but seeing just everybody lose their minds and lose reality. And I've never seen people turn on each other like this. Like, I thought it was bad a year ago. I did not foresee this going this way. I did not see people just ripping each other apart and so quick to fall for this BS. I mean, they're not even fact checking anything. In any of Candace Owens fans don't fact check a single thing she says.
But they
I
sure
still
will
have
fact check
people.
you if you say anything against her.
Yeah,
To the nth
exactly.
degree, they'll make stuff up. And the other thing that they constantly do, they won't argue the merits of the discussion.
That's exactly what we try to argue. And you just automatically shut people down by waving the papers over your head and say, nope, I got it. This is the evidence. It's all right here. That is the issue. We try to look at the actual physical evidence and sequence of events and all of the little things that matter that have not been looked into. Y'all just want to go back to that one paper and say, see, nope, here it is. This is it. Gary, I've never heard you argue the merits of anything. The only time I seen you attempt to was when you had ecological criminal report on your show. And that's why I had him on my show, because I felt like you were not able to do that. And I feel like he beat you hands down when you actually started talking. I mean, look, you shook your head and said, okay, I'll give you that one. Let's go on to the next one. You said it more than once. Because if you argued the merits, you can't win.
They got to attack you personally. They got to call.
It is a meritless, Fed slop narrative.
You a Fed. You're paid by Israel. They attack your credibility. And it's obvious as to why, because they don't have an argument against what you're saying.
Exactly. It's the craziest crap I've ever seen. I don't know how so many people allow themselves to just get tricked. I can't believe they won't question a single thing. It's beyond. If they were to just ask the question of, okay, how did you find this out? It would break the spell almost instantly on them. You know, they just got to ask questions. I mean, Candace is all about asking questions, but apparently these guys, her followers aren't.
Hey, we got another international in the house. What's up, Sandy? I love to see those international people in here. That means that even though we're small, we're getting out there. We're getting out there. I love to see that. Hey, thank you for being here. And I know I can't stand him. Most of the people that in there in that chat can't stand him. But you know what? I got to torture y'all every now and then, at least with Gary. But it's also not about us exactly, or not only. It's about people that might see this in the future. A lot of people might hear Gary and think he sounds intelligent. So I'm here to prove the point that he's not so much that.
No. They don't like asking. They don't like questions asked at all.
No, I didn't slow the chat down, Miss Susan. Y'all just need to step it up a notch.
Oh, I wanted to show you guys this too, because this is really important and relevant to what we're talking about and just in general. So a lot of people are out there saying that the police and arrest report where George Farmer went to jail for a DUI is fake.
Dutch, I sure hope so. And if you would help me facilitate that, that would be lovely.
And the reason that they're saying that, I wish I had the other one. I'll try to find it in a minute. But at the top there is a misspelling in Tennessee. It's missing the S. So they've highlighted that. They've highlighted some other irregularities. One of the things saying that he has black hair. Look, police, now that part doesn't bother me at all.
Doesn't bother him at all. That the fact that he put black hair on there.
Because police transpose information wrong all the time, right? So if it
The dude's hair is as blonde as it gets. I mean, it's almost white. He's so blonde.
said BL on his driver's license for blonde hair, and he wrote BLK or whatever else, just in the midst of it all, things happen. Look, you can go through police reports. We've shown it at other court documents. Oh my God, they misspelled my name in the latest Harpole lawsuit that I was mentioned in multiple times, right? So just so you know, really what those misspellings that people have highlighted trying to say that it's fake actually confirm its legitimacy. And let me show you why, because truth be known, just released this. The 2019 Nashville arrest report, page 72, proves the spelling errors are built into the official system, not forged. These identical typos in a Supreme Court docket confirm the form is an authentic government template, verify the matching error links via the link in the image. But you can see right here, up here, I know it's probably hard for you guys to see, but again, we have Tennessee spelled with one S, not two. And I was telling Artie before the show, you know, when I was in the military, there were several documents, official documents that we used all the time. We used to make fun of the fact that there were spelling errors all through that. Some PAC clerk, you know, making these forms. It happens all the time in government documents. There's nothing crazy. That doesn't prove anything. What you're trying to say is that the images, look, all that's going to be proven. And folks, I have some evidence that we're trying to get a hold of that if we can get it and we're in the middle of it and it's looking pretty good, we will definitively prove that George Farmer was arrested for DUI.
For one, it sounds like a Mitch Snow scenario to me. Oh, we get the proof. We get this stuff that we told we can get. It's just going to be over. It's going to be over. Well, it ain't over. Mitch Snow's still out there, and you know, more credible than ever. You know, just because Gary said he's got some kind of super secret information coming doesn't really impress me much. But again, okay. So if it is true, what the hell is that? What does that really matter? You never know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he lied to her. Maybe Candace doesn't even know about it. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. But I do know, based on the ones that are putting this out there, pushing it and spreading it, and they're pushing it so hard, I do know that those people have absolutely zero credibility, and I can guarantee you their intentions are not good in any way. So I'm going to have to see some pretty hard evidence before I even believe it. The problem is we have these influencers, no matter what kind of good they're doing, people always want to dig up dirt and shit that really doesn't apply, doesn't really matter at the end of the day when it comes down to the material that is being discussed. So yeah, it may look bad if it is true, but at the end of the day, what's it really matter? Who cares? I don't think that I'm going to lose any sleep over it. I don't know. We'll see.
So hopefully we'll be able to get that. It's real. All right. And there's a reason that she has to lie about it and say that it was just a fender bender and go on and on about all that. So that's where we're at with that.
Oh, absolutely. Which I'm enjoying every bit of this ride. It's fun to watch her struggle for a bit. She's being put on the back foot. She's the one getting investigated. I wonder how it feels. Can't feel too good.
Yeah, I mean, all I need.
Look, I'm no Candace simp or nothing, but like, you got to be, use a little common sense. I mean, like, to say that she's on her back foot. I mean, come on. Like I said, I'm no Candace simp. I think she's done some good stuff. I think she's done some stuff that wasn't so good. Whatever. At the end of the day, the fact that these guys are acting like it's over for reminds me of all of the times that they talked about how, it was the end of Trump's rope. He was in the corner, the walls were closing in on Russia. Of course, come to find out, none of that was ever real, but regardless.
All I need is an alibi from George Farmer that night. I'm just asking questions.
Penny, I did. Yes. You're talking about Billy from Brandy and Billy. Yes. Yeah, he did. I don't know how I feel about that. I think he should have put a little more thought into it before he did it. And I can see her not being too quick to accept that apology, especially knowing how Gary is. I don't know.
I think it's fair Because here, all joking aside,
There you go, Butterbean. Hey, good to see you here. Good morning. Raining. Hey, nice to see you here again. Thank you for stopping by.
I keep hearing people down in the comments say, well, this isn't even relevant to this. No, it is very relevant. It's extremely relevant to everything that we're talking about, because
Butterbean, you know, we got this rule here. If you ever pop in here, you got to keep popping in here. So show up once, you got to always show up. So I'll be looking for you next time. It is good to see you here.
98% of what people believe that are Candace Owens followers are based strictly on what Candace Owens has said to be true. So her credibility is 100% at stake and important and relevant to the situation. So if she's lying that George Farmer never got a DUI when actually he did, and there's some more things to go, we'll talk about in a second related to that. But if she's going to sit there and say that it was just a fender bender, and now she's went on to say that George Farmer, that they never even had a Ram 1500 TRX, like is what's shown. And we've already seen people that come out that have known George Farmer that have confirmed that he did indeed have that truck. So the fact is that she's a liar. And that is extremely relevant to this entire situation, because we're supposed to rely on anonymous sources that she says exist.
And Gary is so super truthful. Super truthful.
Have zero evidence of a single material claim. Zero evidence, folks. We have no evidence that the French Foreign Legion were involved. We have no evidence that there was any sort of assassination plot by the French against Candace Owens. We have no evidence that any sort of meeting down at Fort Huachuca took place, other than Mitch Snow, who's also a confirmed pathological liar.
Yeah, y'all better keep your eyes on that. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I've talked to him personally. I know that there's more to come of that story. So we'll just have to see, Gary. I wouldn't say too much about it.
We have no evidence that Brian Harple was there. They're about to get plenty of evidence that he wasn't there, though. Don't you worry about that with this lawsuit. We have no evidence that the Freemasons were involved. We have no evidence that Erica Kirk, TPUSA, or anybody else was involved in any way in knowing, foreknowledge, participating in, conspiring to kill Charlie Kirk. Zero evidence of any of those things.
What he means by zero evidence is we do not have an official report stamped by a court that alleges it to be so. That's what he means by zero evidence. Oh, trust me, there's plenty of circumstantial evidence out there to back these things. You would think more than enough for somebody, some type of law enforcement agency to pick it up and actually look at it. But guess what? Obviously, that's not going to happen. So I don't know. I hope eventually it does, but we'll have to see. But what he calls evidence is a piece of paper, government adjacent, that says, here's what happened. The Fed slop.
Zero evidence. A bunch of hearsay, a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of gossip, a bunch of, they continue to just try to create these correlations that don't exist, correlate them, and then kind of create a causation. It's the dumbest, most.
Hey, guess what, guys? I got a DUI years ago. It was about 20 years ago, but yeah, I got a DUI. So hopefully y'all don't all go unsubscribe now, but I mean, come on.
Transparent and see-through operation that's ever taken place, and yet so many Americans buy into this thing.
But you live and you learn, and I've grown up since then. I've had 4 kids since then. I mean,
will fight you to their death down in the comments, trying to make you out to be the crazy one. Like, I'm not participating in your insanity. I'm just not. Freaking
same here.
retarded.
I mean, it's just really simple. If you're going to question one side, make sure you question the other side. It's really that simple. Do both.
Yeah.
And you will be led to the correct spot.
that is rich. Again, so rich.
And right now, the correct spot is there's no evidence to corroborate anything that took place outside of what any of the police or the feds or anybody else has said so far. Does it mean that there's not something else that could be going on? No. But what's the point in making stuff up and then going along with it as if that's going to help you out?
Yeah,
it's just
look,
going to lead you down a weird path.
the amount of
What good does it do anybody to just close your eyes, open your mouth, and say, feed me that slop with a water hose? I mean, come on.
information they've now shared, which is
They lied on JFK. They lied on MLK. They lied on RFK. They lied. How many things have they told us that didn't end up being a lie? They lied about the God blessed moon landing, for Christ's sake. Come on. This one time, because Donald Trump's the president, it's all true. They're all telling the truth. It's all legitimate. You got to believe it. Fuck that.
Voluminous, to say the least. I mean, between what we had in the original charging documents and now what they've released, we've heard come out in different court hearings. And then on top of that, the recently released search warrants that have come out that track his every movement before, during, and after. They know he was sitting there. Matter of fact, he was sitting in the driveway of the house that I flew our drone from till like almost midnight, still trying to get to his rifle. So like they know all this through pinging his phone, through text messages, and in addition to that, they have revealed that they have additional like ring camera.
Who gives a shit? Nobody's arguing that it was his gun. We all know it was his gun. Hell, they found his DNA on it. It was his gun. Yeah, he probably did sit there hoping to retrieve it.
Ring camera footage. So that they know what's going on. Folks, they have, if you believe this evidence, and there is no reason not to, because we're going to be shown proof of this evidence in court. The defense is going to be able to get access to all this evidence and determine whether or not it's real. They're going to have their own people look at it. It would be very detrimental for the prosecution to be creating evidence. And my God, there'd be so many people involved, both at the state and local level. Like, to sit here and pretend that this didn't happen and the evidence isn't real is insane. But they have created such a tight picture of what has taken place. It leaves no real room for anything else. The only thing that it does leave room for, which I am completely open to, is Lance having foreknowledge of this. I think it's hard to believe that he didn't, and or other people being involved and possibly even radicalizing Tyler Robinson online through some of these Discord chats and other chats, and then other associations that he may have had with, the trans queer Salt Lake City group, whatever.
Yes, it is. It's driving under the influence.
For the different gun groups out there. So I'm open to all that. But if you're going to sit here and say,
so technically it could be other substances also. So it could be drugs, but yes, DUI, driving under the influence.
That, there was a third shooter, exploding mics, tunnels underneath Charlie Kirk. I mean, it's the stupidity is overwhelming.
Absolutely. I mean, at a bare minimum, Candace could at least go through those leaked Discord messages, which I still don't think she even knows they exist. I think she just completely ignored Turkey Tom's video on that. He had every one of those Discord messages leaked and went over every single one of them. And it's a good, is it like a 2-hour video?
I think he has 2 of them. And I think both are about 40 minutes long.
Yeah, that video, you know what it proves? It proves that Lance Twiggs is a more than likely allegedly violent psychopath. So, you know what? I've said from day one that I felt like he was probably involved in some way. And I think by the time it's over and done with, we'll find that out, whether it's officially or unofficially. But yes, so I agree. And I also feel like more than likely these quote unquote confessions, one of them at least, the Discord messages that he did, according to their story, after he showed up at the jail. Supposedly after he showed up at the jail, he posted these confessions on Discord. No, don't think so. That's where that whole 625 and being sworn in, or not being sworn in, but being Mirandized comes into play. But yeah, so, he puts those messages on Discord, supposedly, allegedly saying that he did it and he apologized and talking about how much fun it was, how he appreciated everybody in the Discord. Yeah, so to me, it's way more likely that he showed up, he got Mirandized, they took his phone, he sat there at the jail while his good buddy Lance, with access to his devices, confessed for him. What do you think? I mean, honestly, do you think that Tyler would go into so much detail to exonerate Lance? Or do you think possibly, with all the exoneration of Lance that was in all these different things, these different letters and stuff, do you think it'd be more likely that Lance would have done that? I'm going with Lance. That's just my opinion, allegedly, not stating as fact. Thank you very much.
Long.
Okay, yeah.
If you haven't seen that, you need to go.
And yes, I agree. Those Discords are suspicious, to say the least.
Watch the Turkey Tom videos about Tyler Robinson. Those are extremely illuminating. You need to go watch that. I don't care if you believe Candace or not. Go watch that. At least you have a full picture of what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even when she was talking with the CNN reporter, she was referencing text messages, and she thought those were Discord chats. And it just shows how ignorant of the basics of this is. And by the way, folks, she'd never.
I think that's why Gary likes him so much. no argument, no nothing. He can bring this guy on and, you know, say what he wants. He gets the old head nod every now and then. And I mean, rarely, but every now and then he gets some kind of, you know, something out of him, but definitely no pushback. So, yeah, I think that's why it's one of his favorite guests, as he, to quote Gary.
I don't know if she's ever read through the charging documents. When the charging documents came out, that episode, the only thing that she showed was that either she or her producers had created some bullet.
Especially a confession of a crime that he allegedly hoped to take to his grave. My, how quickly his feelings and intentions changed on that. How do you go from I intended to take this to my grave to here it all is, you know, laid out in black and white? Yeah, no, sorry, not buying it.
Points from this, and they were very careful what information to reveal and what not to reveal. It was omission, lying through omission, which is one of the things, one of her favorite tactics. So, and by the way, she confirmed the charging documents. Literally in that episode, she said, hey, I have a source that I've trusted that has come out multiple times. I've also reconfirmed things that this source said with Lance Twig's family or whatever else. And this source revealed that it was the mother that identified Tyler Robinson in the videos. She said that. And then 10 episodes later,
I believe it is too, Brett. Just my personal opinion, allegedly.
she tried to turn around and pretend that that never happened and said, you know, the whole narrative that the media was giving us that, you know, Tyler's parents allegedly identified him. That's not what happened at all. It was a friend that identified them and then called Tyler's parents and said, hey, look, you got to turn him in. None of that's true. None of that's true.
Exactly.
Confirmed by her own source.
You know, I mean, her fans are going to go along with whatever she says at this point. And I've tried talking to so many of them. I've shown so many of them, even on X, like, hey, what about this? And then they go straight to the name calling.
Yeah.
And that's really it. And that's when they call.
God, these assholes never do any name calling. Holy shit. If you want to see some name calling, go to Gary's X page. Holy God.
Conversation just dies. So
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do when it comes to those people.
There's
I
nothing
hate to just call them a lost cause, but
I think they are. Like
Yeah.
I was having a conversation while I was talking to Nate Vance. We talked a little bit about this on the podcast yesterday. If you haven't seen that, folks, that was a really good one. So Nate Vance is JD Vance's first cousin. We had a great discussion yesterday. But I was talking to him about that at length on a phone call that we had. And it's like, look, man, you know, I tried at the beginning of this. I thought that we could just all come together and operate in good faith and be diplomatic. And folks, for those of you who've been watching my show, you guys know how diplomatic I was with so many people. And I was like, don't be a jerk. And, you know, I don't want to feel like I've become jaded, but I just realized like there is no appeasing these people and they take that kindness as weakness and they just use it against you every time. And the other part of it is just understanding your operational environment, right? You got to understand your enemy and you got to understand what works and what doesn't work. And if you are diplomatic,
Your tactic is not working, Gary. I can promise you. You're not winning any hearts and souls and minds.
to them and you are constantly trying to offer an olive
Yes, Kelly. Exactly. I agree.
branch, these are evil forces. These are not normal human beings that you can talk sense into. And by the way, I don't even think that half of them are real. That's another element of this.
Yep.
Like I'm done pretending. I'm done trying to be nice to these people. I don't think it works. Matter of fact, I know it doesn't work. And we have to recognize them for the, like, we don't sit around and tolerate evil. And this is what they are. And I hate to have to even say that, but I genuinely think that's the truth. Like you gotta draw a line in the sand and like, no, because what I still do on X is if somebody makes
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that. I may try to cut this one up a little bit. I'm fixing to start doing that, kind of like I did with the was it Graham Allen? Yes, like the one I did with Graham Allen. I'm going to start trying to do that. Boomer, that's a pretty good idea.
a logical comment or disagreement, right? I will respond to them in kind. And I'll be like, hey, you know, here's what I think. If they come back with, okay, Jew, okay, you're paid by the Jews. All right, Bibi Netanyahu's B. Like, I might say something freaking in response to them, also responding in kind, and then they get blocked. Like, I'm not playing this game with these people anymore. They're not acting in good faith. There's no way to have an argument or discussion or debate with someone that's not acting in good faith. And, you know, you guys, I'm sure, already did you watch the my debate with
when you start a conversation with, hey, you asshole, dumbass, you know, freaking Candace loving, ass kissing, you know, like when you start the conversation on X like that, you know, I don't know what you expect. Maybe if you showed some good hard evidence, something other than a a court document that we've all seen 10,000 times. Maybe you could have an actual conversation.
Ecological report or whatever his name was, Eco.
Oh yeah.
So
That was
what I will say about Eco is that
Hey, FAA, what's up? I haven't seen you in the chat before, I don't think. It's good to see you in here. I'll remind you and others about the rule that we have. You ever pop in the chat, you're required to always come back to the chat. So I hope to see you back in here soon. If you have not subscribed, please do it, because we do this all the time. We have a good time. We got the best chat on the internet, and we like to talk a little truth, and we also like to make a few jokes and make fun of some of these goofy people that just literally make a fool out of themselves every day online.
I think he actually believes what he says. And that's why I decided to go ahead and have that conversation with him. And I thought it was also a really good opportunity to like put on full display, because I think he does it better than anybody. He puts on full display the complete lack of logic and common sense that are the underpinning of his beliefs. And if you listen to what he has to say, like this, I don't care. He basically believes that Charlie Kirk wasn't killed and it's all fake and everybody's in on it. And Tyler's in on it and Tyler's parents are in on it. And yeah, Tyler's going to go to jail for the rest of his life, but it's important that Charlie Kirk can fake his death. I don't even know. I don't even know. It doesn't.
Thank you so much. I'm really working hard on that 500. Obviously, I'll have a new goal after we get there. One day at a time, baby steps. But thank you. That put me one closer to the 500 mark.
It only makes sense to certain people's life. But regardless of the op, regardless of where they land on the retard board of like, hey, this, I believe in the exploding mics. I believe that the Jews killed them. I believe this. I believe that. The same.
Please do. I don't know if you've noticed yet or not, but there are some fine people in that chat, and they're all fine people. And yes, we're a great little community, growing community, but we're definitely a good place to hang out.
Type of logic gets them to just a slightly different result every time.
absolutely. Not to mention, it would be very awkward to run into somebody who even looks like Charlie Kirk. I don't think I've seen anybody that's like, wow, you kind of resemble him. Good luck with that one. He must be on a private island somewhere.
He had plastic surgery and now he's on a private island. Yeah, he's
Yeah, exactly.
he's serving cocktails.
And I love how they like to just group everybody into these, like they come up with the Charlie's not dead theory, basically. Oh, that means everybody believes that Charlie's not dead. And that is not true. I've never believed that or said that. Again, you just kind of grouping or throwing everybody into this one little group or into this box, and saying, yep, they're crazy, is not a good way to win over people, for one. And for two, to me, it's a small minority of people anyway that believe that. And, yeah.
The people on the beach in the Philippines or something.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. Man, that's just a wild take. I've heard that theory going around
You're right. Killing Me Smalls, best chat ever.
a little bit. I'm surprised Candace didn't quite pick up on that one, seeing that she had quite the falling out with Charlie. I guess you can pull on people's heartstrings just a little bit better if you pretend that you were his best buddy, even though you got fired. But then also supposedly quit because Charlie Kirk lied right to your face, but you're still best buddies. That's just it's kind of a weird take to have too.
I don't think there is any honest person out there right now that personally knew Charlie and personally knew Candace, that will argue the fact that they were extremely close. Now, you got your few shills out there that just, whatever, but generally people that knew them both well will not argue that fact. And you can tell the ones that are lying. I don't think there's any. I just don't think there's any way to argue that fact.
But
And you're such good friends that he never once since 2019 had you on his podcast. He didn't invite you to his wedding. You weren't invited to AmFest 2024 or AmFest 2025. You can't produce text messages that are in the last couple of years. Everything that I've seen so far.
Yeah, Michelle, and I don't agree with that. I know how it is, and I wish nobody would do that. I think, I don't know. That's what happens, but that's what happens when assholes like this do what they do every day. I mean, they make this problem worse. they're always agitating, aggravating, and saying, you know, we cannot get along. We cannot agree. We cannot. And I mean, and look, there's some crazy people out there on the internet, no doubt. Hey, absolutely. And it's on both sides. But yes, I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with attacking somebody for what they believe or don't believe. And for sure, not on behalf of just some influencer. Not good at all. And again, like I said, I don't agree 100% with everything Candace has ever done. I do agree with some things, obviously. I don't know, but I'm definitely not going to go attack somebody for not feeling the same way I do.
Has been attributed like 2018 or 2019, including the
Exactly.
one.
And yes, I love to hear different ideas. If you'll notice, if you get back on looking at some of the comments and some of these videos after the fact, there'll be somebody that pops in here and there that doesn't agree. And I always thank them for commenting. I always thank them because I like to hear these differences in opinion. I like to talk about it. I'm not going to be like, hey, what the hell you doing commenting on my video? Get the hell out. And I mean, that's just no way to be.
She released today, which is a weird text message to begin with. I mean, there's no timestamps. Like, I need to see some metadata from those text messages, don't you? I mean, don't you think that's fair to confirm,
Oh,
to
absolutely.
make sure that that's real? I think that's fair. I mean,
That's all she asked for.
we're just asking questions.
Exactly.
So I think that's fair. Now, you just did a couple of videos. One of them involved John Mappin, amongst other things. Let's talk a little bit about. I've filibustered a long time here. I want to hear some of the things that you've been working on and some of the things that you can kind of enlighten people on that you're working on. Maybe you can share some things you're working on now that you haven't produced yet, but it's coming out. So, kind of take it away.
Absolutely. Well, I know. So I went over some of the stuff about John Mappin on my video, Candace Owens Snaps on Ben Shapiro and Laura Loomer. And it was just kind of interesting because I don't understand this guy's angle. He's talks in riddles, it kind of seems. Let's see. The tweet that he mainly said, I'll just kind of pull it up here. So this is kind of the weirdest. I don't even know how to describe it. He retweets Candace Owens. And he's saying that there's a reason Charlie Kirk and those at TPUSA executives closest to Charlie that he trusted hate Ben Shapiro. And there's all these TPUSA workers that are either coming out and making fun of people like us, or they're all sitting there. They're still working for TPUSA, but they're all on Candace Owens' side. But none of them come out and say a word about any of the stuff going on. And he goes as far.
Is that really true? I mean, is that really true? Didn't they fire 40 people all at one time, 30, 40 people all at one time because they were trying to get rid of the leaker? And come to find out, they fired all those people and didn't get rid of the leaker at all. And you've got several people from TPUSA. What's her name? Aubrey. I can't remember her last name right now. But, she's had a lot to say. You got this one TPUSA employee that has been Project Constitution, interviewed him. But anyway, that wrote that big, long letter. No, it seems to me that there have been several from Turning Point USA that have had things to say. So just to try to say that everybody there is just happy and nobody says anything negative about anything and blah 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 is just horseshit.
Or to say, responding to somebody who essentially said Candace is describing what she's done to Erica. That's kind of a weird, out of context thing to say. But he responds to him by saying, has it ever crossed your mind
I've tried a few times, but you're right,
that Candace might be protecting Erica? I guess calling her a murderer, putting a target on her back, getting all these people who,
Aubrey Lake, yes, there it is. Hey, Oswald, good to see you there. Yeah, so I don't know exactly. There's not a lot of context there, and I haven't gone back to see if there is any context. I don't really know what exactly he was trying to say. But again, regardless of what John Mappin meant by that tweet, I've never heard her accuse anybody of being a murderer, I don't think. For some reason, people with guilty consciences take certain questions being asked as as some type of, I guess, almost like a threat, an accusation at least. So that means something, I think. Again, though, I've not heard her actually accuse anybody of anything, or most of the people on this side of it. I don't think I've heard Baron Coleman accuse anybody of anything.
Just imagine if you're somebody who's a little hot-headed
Butterbean, yep, I'm getting there with you. I'm right there with you.
and you really love Charlie Kirk. What kind of feelings would you be feeling knowing that there's a woman out there who just ended that man's life and she's walking around free in his image, taking over his company, doing all that stuff? I wonder how most people would feel about that. Going around telling people that she's a Black Widow or that she should go ahead and write a book that if I did it, just like OJ. I imagine at least probably one out of the millions of people in Candace Owens' audience would probably be angry enough to maybe want to do something about that. I don't know, maybe leak her security detail or something. Maybe leak her hotel information or what vehicles she may be renting. It couldn't possibly happen, right? And then John Mappin here is going, well, she's doing it to protect Erica. That's a crazy, crazy take. I don't even know how to wrap my mind around that take, to be honest. It's almost psychotic. So I kind of go over that in that video, the Candace Owens snaps on Ben Shapiro and Laura Loomer. I did a Candace video today for the most part, and it was hard to get through her video. Let's say that. I had to pre-watch it because she talks about nothing. She just gloats about Ben Shapiro. Apparently his company's just dead. Daily Wire's gone now forever. And, he just had to cut like 60% of his workforce with no evidence to back.
So I get what you're saying there. I look at it a little differently. I just feel like Erica has brought most of this on herself by the way she has been acting, the lies and all that. People are generally pretty forgiving, especially when it comes to things in your past. So to lie about those things doesn't do any favors for anybody's view of you, especially when you're out there day after day talking about how much of a traditional wife you are and how you've got to be something that a Charlie Kirk would want. And that's besides all the, if you've watched Lionel, you've heard him talk about it, the leaked Zoom call. Hey guys, the 200,000, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've went through the numbers. But anyway, she was rattling off all the numbers, including the 55,000 hat sales. And, she has not done herself any favors. I think if she would have just backed off, mourned, grieved, whatever, maybe come into the limelight a little bit after that, that probably would have been her best bet. But she has not done herself any favors by the way she's acted, some of the things she said. Lying about the text messages that Charlie had sent saying that he thought they were going to kill him. I don't have time to go into all that right now. But like I said, I think she would have been much better off to have just kind of, hey, we're going to keep the legacy going. And just kind of gone and done her and her kids, and not jumped right into that position and out in front of the world with the fireworks and all that.
Any of that whatsoever. It's just some of the wildest takes that I go through. And, we have a fun ride. At least we go on that roller coaster ride together. It makes it bearable. Ooh, but it's tough to listen to Candace Owens. I mean, like I said, her newest video, she doesn't talk a thing about Charlie Kirk. No new evidence. In fact, when was the last time she even brought forward any new evidence about Charlie Kirk even being betrayed or anything? Thought she wasn't going to stop until she solved this. I guess drama is a heck of a lot more important. It's worth pumping the brakes on that train to address a little bit of drama. I don't know.
No, I agree.
Look, I don't necessarily think she is either. Honestly, if I had to guess right now, if you wanted my honest to God's opinion, I would say no. I do not think she's a murderer either. But what I feel like there is a possibility of is that whether, beknownst or unbeknownst to her, that she was placed in his life for a reason. And I feel like she was meant to step into that role if and when he had to be taken out of the way. And that's just my thoughts, my opinion, allegedly. and now she's the CEO, and she could kind of control the direction that this thing goes, and she could support her husband's legacy. But when you right away just start accepting and going with all the things that Charlie was avoiding and turning down, the whole stance has changed. Charlie was trying to move away from, our greatest ally. And now we are just getting closer and closer and closer. And anybody that questions that's an anti-Semite. And these are things that she has control over. And she's not doing anything to, and hey, there were all the talks about the $150 million that BB offered that he turned down. We do know for sure, confirmed by Erica, that he did turn down an offer from BB to take him to the next level. Well, then literally days, if not weeks after he's taken out of the way, we all of a sudden we get these FARA documents and, all of this geofencing and all of this digital, surveillance and all of the propaganda, basically. All of this all of a sudden started being mixed up with Turning Point, and this was conveniently right after Charlie was taken out of the way. So I don't know. I don't think she murdered him, but I think that it benefited her, and I think it benefited people that are backing her. And I don't know. I just think there's something there. Like I said, I don't think she murdered him, though.
Well, she has to continue to create drama, right? But I do like the fact that she is on the defensive for the first time. Now she's going to sit here and pretend that she is welcoming discovery. I am so glad that Brian Harpole is suing her. So glad. And I can't wait to see him prove that he was not at Fort Huachuca. I can't wait to see that he can prove all of her other allegations are just completely false. He's going to have multiple eyewitness testimony that they're going to be able to depose, and ultimately, if they...
So that's an interesting one, and we're probably going to have to wrap it up pretty quick after this. And I wish I had this. I wish I'd had this clipped out where I could pull it up on my screen. I can do that at some other time, but I just wanted to. I do want to read something to you. That is a understandable. That's an understandable stance. I can understand where people feel that way and believe that she is using Charlie to make lots of money, and that that's what all this is about. I totally 110% get it. But at the same time, let's see. All right. So this is just a summary of what I did is I had AI just basically look at her numbers over the past couple of years from the time she left the Daily Wire, and what happened to her views and her, her followers and her income and all that from then to now. And so basically this is what this is how it was summarized. When did the jump start for her? So when did her numbers start going way up? That was between March and April of 2024. And then this accelerates through the summer of 2024. What happened right then? She broke with the Daily Wire in March of 2024. This is the trigger event. Immediately after, she goes independent, starts uploading directly to her own channel more aggressively. Audience consolidates around her, not the network. This is when the baseline begins to lift. Okay, phase one, pre-jump, is January through mid-March 2024. Her views were typical, 500 to 1 million and occasional 1.5 million. Then phase two was an initial spike. This was late March to May of 2024. This was right after the split. Then we got several videos outperform relative to her old baseline, moves up to 800 to 1.5 million as her view count. And then you got phase three, which is reinforcement, summer and fall of 2024, 1 million plus views consistently. Algorithm starts treating her content as high engagement, broadly distributable. This is where the new floor gets established. Phase four, full breakout. This is late 2024 through 2025. Regularly 1.5 to 2.5 million views per video. And this is late 24 to 2025. Monthly views roughly 2 to 3 times old levels. This is the new normal you're seeing now. So we got March 2024 was the spark, summer 2024 ignition, late 2024 full liftoff. The jump started immediately after March 2024. It became obvious by mid 2024. It became fully established by late 2024. So I understand why people would see that, believe, and see this, especially from the outside looking in, not looking at all the metrics and the numbers. I can see where people would just assume that. But she has not gained anything off of Charlie Kirk specifically. It is just a continuation of what's been going on. And actually, on the full thing here, not just the summary, but on the full thing here, it actually says that her subscribers and her views and everything over the past, 8 to 10 months to a year has actually leveled off a little bit. But we're not on this spike, this straight up trajectory right now. And yet she's covering it. So again, I'm no Candace simp. I'm no huge Candace fan. I think she's doing some good stuff. I think she's doing some stuff that's not good. I try to take it all in and just be objective with all of it. But if you actually look at her numbers, leaving the Daily Wire is what started that jump and her going independent. And that is where she did the whole straight up. That was all from 2024 to 2025, not, from September 2025 into 2026. That's just the numbers. That's just what the numbers show. So, like I said, I don't know. Let's see here. Let's go over some more of these chats that I've probably missed, and then we'll call it there. I've got a meeting that I'm supposed to be attending soon. Matter of fact, let me check on that. I'll be right back with y'all. Hold, please. Let's see. Just making sure I'm not missing nothing. Sure I'm not. Okay. Thought I missed it. I was supposed to. It was supposed to be at 10, but I've been watching and they didn't show up. So anyway, all right, back to it. Yeah, let's look at some of these. Let's look at some of these chats. Okay, Jenny and Lee's channels. So which Jenny are you talking about, Boomer? I'm assuming on Lee you mean hell, I can't think of her last name right now. Yeah, let me know who exactly you're talking about there, Boomer, and I'm sure that I definitely can do that. All right, let's see. Okay, Charlie would put his phone down and say, Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home. Yeah, that's right, every day. Yes, I do too. I think that's another important point. I feel like she is, there's no doubt that she likes the spotlight and she likes attention and she likes people to like her. And that's a good thing sometimes, and sometimes that's a bad thing. And sometimes it makes it easier. It makes it easier to get you to go with the flow. But yes, I feel like that probably is a contributing factor for sure. Yeah, and again, there you go. Exactly. I've not claimed it for sure. I have not heard Candace or Barron or any of the other, big names, bigger names. I've not heard any of them actually accuse her of it. But at the same time, yes, she is participating in the cover-up in one way or another. What exactly her role has been, remains to be seen. But we know that this stinks to high heaven. We know that it is not true. But yet she, right off the bat, enforced the idea that it was Tyler. She got out there and said that she forgave him. And she has towed that line 100%. She has argued points that anybody has brought up, to as far as other alternative theories. And so, yeah, for whatever reason, for whatever her motivation is, she is helping cover it up. And look, she's not dumb. I mean, she has to know there's something going on there. Scruff, I think you're right. I think she's an op. Exactly. Oswald, yes, exactly. And this is a point that I try to make. This is a point that I would make to Gary if he will ever, make good on his word and get me on his show. But we are not prosecutors, and we're not trying to act like prosecutors. Basically, I don't need to prove out without a shadow of a doubt. I don't need to prove out, who did it to be able to conclusively say that who they're saying did it did not in fact do it. That is the main thing. The main thing, the main point of all of this, yeah, it'd be nice to find out for sure who did it and why, but the main thing is just to prove out the fact that they are lying to us and that what they're saying happened did not happen, and that more than likely the guy they've got on trial is innocent, at least of what he is being charged with at this time. Not completely innocent necessarily, but so that's the main point to all of this, or at least in my mind. Again, in a perfect world, if he did get acquitted or what have you, then the investigators would get off their asses and go out there and do their damn jobs that we pay them to do and do a real investigation, and then maybe possibly get the real perpetrators. So yeah, I don't feel like, at least for me, the point is to actually prove out what did happen, but more what didn't happen. And it's led us down a lot of rabbit holes. Hey, possibly, very, very possible, I'd say. Let's see. Yeah, so that's another thing. We've got a few widows that hang out in the chat, and yeah, I don't think I've ever talked to a widow. Not yet have I spoken to a single widow who has ever said that is normal. People grieve differently. I agree. They do. I haven't seen grief yet. That's my issue. It's not a fact of how she's grieving. It's just the fact that I have not yet seen any real grief. But again, that's just me. That's allegedly in Minecraft. You know what I mean? And yes, absolutely. I agree 100%. She does. She's got a bunch of people that follow her that are just absolute idiots. Again, though, or not again, but one other point that I will make is that obviously creators have to be careful about what they say as far as, like when it comes to violence and all these things. You've got to make sure that you keep yourself distanced from all that stuff. And, you've got some people that start following along with you. A lot of times may take your word way more seriously than what they should. You have to be careful about all that. But at the end of the day, unless a creator, unless an influencer has specifically been feeding something like that intentionally, you can't really blame the creator for having crazies follow them. I don't think it's right, but I don't think it's Candace. She just happens to be the one. Any big names are going to have some crazy motherfuckers following them. That's just the way it goes. It's a sad, but it's a sad fact that goes along with this. Right now, I don't have any crazies. Hopefully it stays that way. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, you can't really, she hasn't sicked those people on Gary or anybody else. So you can't really be held responsible for what some of your crazy ass followers do. You can't control who hits the subscribe button. Hey, Wild West, I'm just noticing you. Sorry. Hey, good to see you in here. Come hang out again. We got that rule. If you ever pop up in here once, you've got to keep showing up. So I'll be looking for you. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't. This next milestone is 500. I just like a few. So every single one that get one, every single new subscriber is one step closer to that. Obviously, we'll have another milestone after that, but for now it's 500. And I would very much appreciate you you subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you for being here. Yes, there you go. Right now, obviously, I could be convinced, but it would take quite a bit to convince me that they were not heavily involved and probably the majority of what happened. Obviously, they would have to have some cooperation with others, but that's right, exactly, the cover-up. That's, if nothing else. I mean, we may find out at some point that there's more to that, but at a minimum, they are complicit in the cover-up, which to me is enough. Good Lordy, we got some comments in here. Y'all, I'll tell you what, I love to see this. Because, you know, when you go to YouTube Studio and look at the analytics, you know, you've got this little graph that shows engagement. I always love to see that high engagement. That does help with the YouTube algorithm. So y'all are doing me right here. Let's see. Oh, Nosy Google. Sorry, I'm glad that was on your end, not my end. I've been pretty paranoid myself since we have had some technical difficulties. We try not to have those, but you know, you never know. There's a lot of people like that. I had heard of him. I knew of him, I'd heard her too. You know, I'd watched her some. I've never been just a Candace, you know, person. But anyway, I knew Charlie, but I didn't agree with his stance on Israel, and it took him dying for me to realize that he no longer had that stance, took that stance, which kind of sucks. But right before he died, I heard the interview on PBD that he did. So I kind of knew that something seemed like it might have been changing, but I just never historically would listen to him that much because it always went back to the Israel thing. And I just like, I can't take it. So, other than that though, I've always liked him, respected him. He did good at what he did. So I don't know. It sucks that a lot of people got introduced to him that way. But yeah, his views definitely changed. Changed a lot. Absolutely. Absolutely. And anybody that is being honest cannot argue that cannot argue that. I'm just, they were always close. Let's see. But she was involved in the planning, or she know it's coming at the same. Yeah. So, you know, I can't state that as fact. And hey, welcome, Jamaican girl. Thank you for being here. If you heard my rule, you know, about showing up and always showing up after that, we would much appreciate you holding to that. And make sure you're subscribed if you're not. Trying to get to 500 regardless. Yes. So I can't say, you know, without a shadow of doubt, I can't state as fact what, if anything, she did or didn't do. I can say, though, that she has definitely been involved in the cover-up for sure. And I feel like people around him would have had to have had some knowledge. Maybe not everybody would have had to had some prior knowledge. And there were some very strange happenings that went on right around the end there, including at home. So, yeah, I mean, there's a possibility. Yeah, definitely there's a strong possibility she at least knew it was coming. Now, I'm not going to state that I'm not going to swear that she did. That's all allegedly. But anyway, you know. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, she's still got big plans, I think, but I think she needs to just kind of back off that a little bit. Yep, a lot of people it was that way. Yep, awful. Jenny is the ex-trad wife, ex-Mormon. Okay. I got you. Yes. So I will have to get back on back with you on that, but I can definitely do that. I don't have that right here right now, but yes. As a matter of fact, I just screenshotted that just so I won't forget. Yes, I can do that, Boomer. Definitely. Let's see. Man, y'all commented. Y'all doing a lot of comment. I love it. By exposing Mikey, telling her to look at Andrew. So again, you know, in that video, that last video I did, talking about Graham Allen, he had said that she was accusing him. She never accused him of anything. She was saying it was awful strange how he just turned around and walked off, never looked at Charlie, didn't jump, didn't nothing, just turned around and walked off, phone to his ear. That is strange. I don't care. I mean, it's strange. But she's never accused him of anything. And there's no telling, I don't think she said how long ago that was that he came out. I feel like he was a young guy probably, and hope, you know, I don't know. I don't know how much, if any, involvement he would have had in it. But, you know, I'm starting to think that you never know. Andrew might have been Andrew may have been, you know, in the background kind of controlling things the whole time. Maybe this was all about him becoming CEO. Who knows? I mean, who knows really? Definitely a Zionist, you know, pro Philly. So I don't know, but he was definitely inserted into Turning Point. If anybody's been watching Barron and paying attention, strange way that he got hooked up with Charlie. So there was reason for it for sure. I don't know. But maybe Mikey knows. Obviously, he knows more about that. I think there's plenty more to come on Andrew, especially with Barron also digging in. So, all right, guys. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to jump off here. He rescheduled that for 11, so I'm fixing to have to get on that call. I'm missing. I know I'm missing several comments, guys. Any of y'all that aren't subscribed, please do. Please subscribe, share this on any socials. Y'all, I have had a ball. Thank you for all showing up. We had a lot in that chat compared to other times. Yes. So sometimes it's random, but what I try to do is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 a.m. Central, and then Friday and or Saturday and Sunday. It just depends. I can't ever tell a lot of times, but then I try to do Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday night, and sometimes all three. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 a.m. Central, and then Friday night at 8, usually. Friday night and or Saturday night and or Sunday night. Just depends on how it goes. So, yes, definitely show back up, guys. I appreciate it. We got a cool group here, and I appreciate all the support. Anybody that wants to support monetarily until I get monetized, I have there's a chat pinned at the top that's got my 3 links. The 3 links are also in the description of the video. But yeah, anything helps, 5, 10, 20, whatever, don't matter. I'm not begging, but it does really help, and I really appreciate it if anybody can and will do that. So yes, guys, I'm going to get off here. Thank y'all much, and I will see y'all back here in the morning, Lord willing.